Hello, everybody. It's the pollinator, and I thought I'd make a video tonight. It's the eve of my birthday, and one heck of a birthday this one will be. So I'm just gonna throw my own little party right here before the festivities begin tomorrow. I mean, I'm not doing anything big, but I am going to see Cirque du Soleil tonight, which I have not seen since they went off the air, I think, in the 1980s. So my best friend treated me to this and made it possible that I could bring somebody else with me. So they're going to take me to dinner before the show, and I'm just gonna have a good time. But I wanted to make this video to, I've been on Facebook. People have taken to calling me anything from somewhat of a rageaholic to, I'm sure they're saying other names that they're not actually putting on my timeline, and they're finding out pretty quickly how long I will tolerate their fragility about who I am and what I'm really about. Which brings me to, as pro-black as I am, as anti-white as I am, it kind of tickles me that people think that because I will call things out, and sometimes I do it in a funny way, sometimes I do it in a loving way, sometimes I'm downright asshole about it. But see, what I told my therapist Wednesday is that I'm very intentional in what I do, and I know how I'm coming across, and it all has a reason and a purpose because of what I'm up to in life. And so, I'm quite sure a lot of people are put off by what they've been seeing lately, and that's okay. I don't really mean to scare the hell out of everybody, but at the same time, I kind of do. Because it's the definition of being awake. And I don't mean the Black Lives Matter movement, be woke type of thing, but I mean to awaken people's consciousness that they have been asleep with for a very, very long time. And a lot of us have realized that waking up or going through the transition of waking up is just part of life. And some of us were meant to be that, what word am I looking at? I wanted to say mechanism, but that's not the right word. The catalyst to the kind of awakening that is needed in the world. And, I'll risk what everybody thinks of me. I'll risk everything that I am to for the purpose of waking people up. And but there's a whole bunch of people, non-black people, white people, who I love dearly. We joke around, we laugh, I chat with them while I'm not tearing an asshole out of a bunch of you other ones. And they realize who I am. They understand who I am. They understand where I'm coming from. They understand the fire that has been awakened in me, and they're not afraid, see, because they know that I'm a lot of fun, that I'm very, very bright. And I don't want to toot my horn too much on that. Just that I don't come from a place of ignorance. I study a lot. I research a lot. I read a lot. I watch a lot of videos. I do a lot of things. I move around the internet probably faster than anybody I know moves around the internet. And so, and I'm a gifted typist. I have a lot of gifts. God gave me a lot of gifts. And, you know, on a regular day, I'm typing anywhere from 110 to 120 words per minute with a computer. I'm not using a cell phone. So I can jump all around the internet, simultaneously having conversations with people, simultaneously putting posts on my timeline, simultaneously doing a lot. I'm a master multitasker, okay? So, you know, I've got anywhere from 10 tabs open in my browser at any given point in time. So I'm doing a lot of stuff that people don't know I'm doing. They think all I'm doing is, you know, firing them up on my timeline. They think I'm this, I don't know. Well, okay, it's like this. I told somebody that my bark is louder than my bite. Now, I'll leave it up to you to decide whether that's true or not. It really depends on how close in proximity you are to me, and it depends on what you say to me, whether or not I bark and then I bite you, or I just bark. But again, I just wanted to say that there's a lot of people of all ethnicities, all races, all religions that I admire and that I love and that I chat with and that I talk to and I talk to on the phone, and all sexualities and all genders. I mean, I'm just this kind of person who I don't discriminate when it comes to that. I don't. Even if my bark looks very, very loud on my timeline, I'm doing that for a reason. And it's a reason that goes way far and beyond your appreciation of me, your love for me, your like for me, your dislike for me. See, my purpose is way even above me, where I guess God thinks, you know what, I've got a thick skin and I can take it. Whatever you choose to think about what I'm doing and where I'm coming from, only the enlightened actually get me, okay? And I already know this. I already know that I appeal to a certain audience. I appeal to certain people, and I'm not going to appeal to everybody, but not one person who has met me since I was a child, has ever forgotten me. And I mean, case in point, I dated a Hispanic lady when I had about 90 days of sobriety. So it was 1983. And we had a tumultuous relationship. I mean, her sponsor and my sponsor were telling the both of us, y'all don't need to be together. This is crazy. The shit that y'all do is crazy, and the stuff you're coming back and telling us is crazy, and you don't need to be in a relationship for your first year of sobriety anyway. So, you know, you're being defiant or rebellious or whatever. And neither one of us listened to our sponsors, and we we dated pretty heavy for the first 3 years, I think, and then we just became friends. And then something happened that I'm not even going to talk about right now. I'll talk about it in my book, but something happened where we broke ties. Well, back in 2015 or 2014, or I don't remember exactly when, but a lady that was friends with, all three of us hung together and went to clubs together, clean and sober, and had a lot of fun together, clean and sober. I talked to her on and off, occasionally, maybe once a year, and she put me in touch with my ex, and I think we were talking on the phone because she doesn't do Facebook, even though she's there. I ended up calling her because I got her number from our friend, and the first thing she asked me was, "Damn, I thought you'd be president by now." And I was like, "What? What do you mean president?" She said, "You heard me, president of the United States. You at the rate you were going when I knew you, you looked like you were headed in that direction." I said, "Oh, no, 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 no. I am not a politician. I am not. Although I do have political values, I'm the furthest from something like that." But it was probably the biggest compliment I'd ever gotten in my life. I mean, I didn't expect that to come from her, given some of the things that went on during our relationship. But I was shocked, and she, we talked for a little while, and she even kind of flirted with me a little bit, and it was like, that was over 30 years ago. That's past news, and we're not going there again, but I'm flattered, and, thank you. But no, and this was all before this was in the midst of me working it out that I am a trans man. I hadn't embraced it yet, and so I didn't tell her that I am a trans man, but I have tried to contact her since, but her number has changed or whatever. I like to people who were important in my life, I kind of keep in contact with them if I can, and, the ones I can't, I can't, but, where was I going with that? Oh, people don't forget me. Love me or hate me, or be somewhere in between. People do not forget because I'm so outrageous. I mean, outrageous. Okay, another story. This was 4 days ago. One of my favorite hangouts, my favorite digs, is the Waffle House. Okay. And I go to like 6 or 7 of them in this area because there seems to be a Waffle House on every corner. But anyway, the employees of that restaurant, I'm a regular, and they joke and kid around with me. So anyway, the other day, I was at the Waffle House, and I was feeling really good because of some things that had happened, and I walk in, and one of the waitresses that I give her a hard time. I mean, she's got such an attitude, and it's funny to me because I don't have to work with that. Her coworkers have to work with her attitude, but I don't. I'm just a customer. So if she wants a good tip, she better not be that way too much with me. But anyway, so I walk in there, and I say, "Well, where are your tables?" And I swear to God, I looked to my right and I looked to my left, and she had already set the table up for me. Silverware, coffee, all the things I like. She had it set up. And so I went and I sat down. And for whatever reason, after she took my order, she left and she came back and she sat down at my table. And I was like, I walk in intentionally with books as though I'm getting ready to read something and bury my head down, because I can't go anywhere without being a magnet. I mean, people just, well, you'll see what I mean in a minute. So she's sitting at my table and I'm just messing with her head. I'm just messing with this girl. Who remembered something that I said the last time I saw her, which was like 3 or 4 weeks prior. And I don't remember what I said to her about somebody I was talking to on Facebook, but she remembered. And so she brought it up and I was like, I said, what? About who? And she started laughing and she said, yeah, you did say that. And I said, oh, well, and what I told her was that whoever I was talking to or about or whatever must have annoyed me or something. And I told her that I told the lady that she could sit on it and spin. Now, I don't know how she took that or what she took that to mean or whatever, but well, I do now. I know now. Anyway, I'm giving her a hard time. Meanwhile, there were people sitting at another table, behind her, who were listening to the conversation, because I'm very fully self-expressed. I don't care who hears what. I don't care. I have people rolling most of the time when I'm in public. Unless I'm in a really, really, really bad mood, which is very rarely. So the people at the table, not directly behind her, but the table next to her, they were cracking up. They were laughing. They was like, mm-hmm. And, whatever I was saying, they was agreeing with, because they knew that waitress too. And so she had to get up and run off. And so I start kidding around with the cook, who was like, oh yeah, she's got a attitude. And I said, better you than me. I don't work here. I'm just a customer. So I don't have to, if her attitude gets to be too much for me, I can leave. But poor you were stuck with her for 8+ hours. This waitress is a white woman. For all y'all that think I'm a white people hater. No, I'm not. Okay, so I don't date white girls. But I have, white friends that are men and women. It doesn't matter to me. I'm a friendly guy. So anyway, then walks in these other two people, a woman and a man. And they parked completely. There wasn't a parking space where they parked. But the guy almost falls out of the car. He was so drunk. And when they came in, this waitress said, you can't park there. That's not a parking space. You need to move your car. So the lady takes off to move the car. The guy stumbles to the booth. And he practically falls in there. And I'm just observing this going, oh, brother. So the lady comes in and they sit down, and I wasn't paying much attention to them, but I continued to talk with the waitress, who had returned to my table and was sitting down talking to me. And I told her I was writing a book, I think, and we were talking about that. I don't really know the particulars of it, but I don't remember the particulars. But the lady at the far table with the drunk guy heard it. So when the waitress got up to go serve some other people, this lady gets up and comes to my table. And she sits down. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? Magnet night? I mean, I attract people, but not like that. So she sits down and she's like, oh, you're a writer? Can you help me write a book? And I'm like, no, not really. I mean, I don't know what you're writing about, and I don't know you, and I don't, how am I going to help you write a book? I said, I am a natural writer. I'm not a publisher of books. And but she wouldn't leave the table. And okay, and she was a lesbian stud, okay, flat out. She told me later on, but I'll tell you how she told me. So we're sitting there. She's a white girl too, and I gave her a few pointers on not writing a book, but how to be about writing a book. That you want to be thinking from the vantage point of the reader and not you as the writer. If you really want to make an impact and you really want the book to do well, you'll think about these things, about how it's coming across and what they're going to hear, what they're going to read, what they're going to think about, how you're going to move them, how you're going to, just everything about a book. Because, see, the one I'm writing is my only book. It's my autobiography. Well, at least I think it's going to be my only book. So anyway, she was happy with that, and I think she also heard me whining about country music that was being played on the jukebox. So she jumps up and says, "I'm gonna go play some music on the jukebox. You want to pick some songs?" And I said, "Okay, all right, I'll be there in a minute." And so she gets up and runs off to the jukebox, and I eventually get up and go over to the jukebox to pick up my songs. This lady, first of all, she's like, well, I'm a lesbian, And I said, okay. And I just stood there. I knew why she said that. She was fishing for who the heck she thought I was or whatever. But I didn't bite. So I just stood there and I said, pick the song. And so she said something about wanting to go out with me or something. And I said, well, I don't do white girls. And I only date black women. And she said, well, I know that I could make you never want to be with a black woman again. I started laughing my ass off. I was like, where the fuck did that come from? You don't know me. I don't know you. What the hell are you talking about? And so I'm laughing and I said, you know what? Been there, done that. And I am not looking for a jump in the hay, quick fuck or whatever like that. I'm looking for my wife. That's who I'm going to be with next. And after, getting to know somebody and dating them for a while or whatever, that's my end goal. So she said, well, I'll marry you. Want to get married? And I was like, what is going on here tonight? So I started laughing again, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Let me pick the songs and go sit down. I want to eat. So we pick the songs. I go sit back down. The couple at the table in front of them was laughing hysterically. I mean, they couldn't believe what was going on over in my corner. So the food comes, I eat, and that lesbian told me that the man, the cis male, that was so drunk and was practically falling out of the booth was her fiance. Really? Lesbian, huh? With a male fiance? Oh, this is classic. So I'm just sitting there eating and just thinking, people are freaking nuts. And I couldn't tell whether she was drunk or high or what she was, but she was on some cool shit, okay, to come out and say some shit like that and not think I was listening. I was definitely listening. So, after I ate, those two got up and left. And, bye, and all that stuff. And I said, see ya, bye. Oh, and she tried to get my phone number, but I wouldn't give it to her. I told her the waitress knew me. She said, well, do you come around here a lot? And I'm like, a little. I'm in and out of here. She's like, oh, okay, well, I'll ask I'll ask the waitress or whatever. And I thought, go right ahead. That waitress doesn't know me either. I'm just having a blast. Okay, so they leave, and I sit there. The waitress comes back, sits back at my table. I start harassing her some more, and she kept saying, I don't like you. And I said, yeah, you do. Or you wouldn't keep sitting back down at this table. So who are you trying to fool? So, and she's talking about her boyfriend and that the lesbian tried to hit on her. And, meanwhile, the lesbian tells me that waitress was bisexual or whatever. I mean, these people are telling me all their business. When the female, she never seen me before. And that waitress has only seen me like 3 times in her entire life. So this is all very interesting to me, and I know where it comes from, which I'm not going to reveal in this video, but, why people are drawn to me. But, so she's continuing to tell me all this stuff, and then she has to get up and go help some of the customers again. Well, the couple at the table that was sitting behind the drunk and the lesbian, they get up and come to my table and talk my ear off. I mean, I think I got their life story in 10 minutes. The woman was excited, and the guy was excited, and somehow it came out where I was from, and they had lived there, so they were very excitedly talking about that, and they were talking about snow, and they were talking about, all this stuff in their life and their family, and a whole bunch of stuff they were telling me. And the woman talked more than the guy, so every once in a while he would say something, and I'd laugh, and then she would just go on and on and on and on and on and on, and I was laughing and talking with her, and these 2 people are white too. And so I keep bringing that up because, contrary to what y'all think that I am not anti-white. I'm just pro-black. Please look that up so that you'll know not to come flying on my timeline talking about how anti-white I am, or how I'm so full of rage that I'm being somehow irrational about the intentional things that I say, when I'm not. The people that are getting on my timeline are irrational, and they're fragile, and they're defending racism and a whole bunch of other bullshit that, if they knew how stupid they looked, but see, they end up getting blocked, so they don't get to see the post anymore, and they don't get to see how stupid they look, and they wouldn't know if they saw it anyway. They don't recognize this in themselves. So after the couple me to death, they leave, and then a group of kids come in. I think 3 young men and 2 women, and they were all black, and the waitress knew them. So she jumped up and she was talking crap to one of the boys who made a crack about her, and she looked like she was gonna beat him up. So I said, run, man, run. And he took off out the restaurant. She took off after him. I was cracking up. The cooks were cracking up. I mean, we were all having a really good time. And there's no doubt in my mind that those people, they don't even know my name. The waitress doesn't know my name. But I have this effect on people that they don't forget. And if I say things to them, they don't forget what I say either. Like the waitress. So I finally had enough. I'd been there for 2-3 hours, which is, I'm normally not in that restaurant that long, no matter who I run into or who I'm joking around with or whatever. I'm usually not in there that long. But people kept coming to my table. talking to me. So I finally had enough, got up, paid my ticket, continued to joke around with the cook about the waitress out in the parking lot chasing this young black guy down. No way was she gonna catch him because was a very large lady, and she wasn't catching that boy for shit. So I said something to the cook about it, and then I said, "Ooh, don't tell her." And they said, "Oh, we gonna tell just to get you in trouble with her." And I said, "Go ahead, it don't matter. I'm a customer. I can come and go as I please. I don't have to show back up here for a month or two, and they'll forget all about what happened." So I leave and I go outside, and the waitress is continuing to chase the young man around the car, and it was so funny. I said, what's her name? Brittany, leave the young man alone. And so the guy said, "Did you hear what he said? He said, leave me alone." And he was laughing as he continued to run away from her because she kept chasing him. And I got in my car and I left. So this kind of thing, though, happens everywhere I go. Not to that extent, because I usually don't sit anywhere long enough to have that many people end up at my table talking to me and not even knowing why they're sitting there talking to me and telling me their life story. And they don't know my name. So I go home, and I am a very different kind of human being, and people are starting to realize that now. They're starting to pick up that there's something different about this guy, and I very will intentionally tell people exactly how different I am. It's all over my timeline in pieces, and it's all over these videos in pieces. But if people aren't looking, they'll just pick up on one little something or another and then start harping on that, and they won't see the totality of who I am and what I'm up to in life. So so I wanted to make this video just to give you guys a glimpse, to give my subscribers a glimpse into different sides of me. There isn't one side of me. I haven't flipped into a different way of being. This is who I've been all along. You just don't get the opportunity to see maybe I should make another book after my autobiography called The Different Facets, or the different chapters, or the different something of the pollinator. Different facets. I'm old enough that and I've done so much work on myself that I know myself very well. And one of the things that I've learned to do in life is to laugh. I laugh at me. I laugh at myself sitting here all the time. Because, I do some silly shit. Like the fact that I'm getting older, my memory is not as good as it used to be. And I get up and go in the kitchen and forget why I'm in there. And then come back and sit down. And then I'll completely forget why I went there, and then I'll be doing something else, and it occurred to me why I was in there, so I'll start laughing out loud. I'm sure my neighbors, I have had my neighbors literally stomp on the ceiling up there because I'd be making so much noise in here all by myself. Laughing, playing music sometimes, but, just basically busting out laughing. See, I'm not one of these that will put LOL in a chat window, or LOL in a post, or LOL on my timeline without truly laughing out loud. I'm literally doing that, sitting here. I don't pretend to be one way on the internet and another way in person. I'm the same way in person, and people who have met me can attest to that. I'm just outrageous. I'm a character. So, it's I've been talking for a while here, and it's before midnight, and I wanted to get this uploaded before my birthday, which, like I said, is so special to me this year because of the awesome, awesome journey that I've had, the many, many experiences, good, bad, and ugly. Um, who I am today as a result of everything I've done in my life. Um, how blessed I am. How many gifts God has given me. How grateful I am. And believe it or not, how humble I am. Um, I had a young man do something that just blew me away the other day because I wasn't expecting it. But he made a one-on-one video with someone, and he he called out. They asked him which people were the most memorable to you as you traveled around the country doing interviews. And I was watching the video, and the first person he mentioned was me. I was like, whoa, wow. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. I was like, and I felt so honored and so moved and so touched that people are touched by me, that they allow me the platform and the space to touch them. And when I touch them, they touch me back. See, that's the kind of dude that I really am. Despite the obvious, behind here is a guy with a big heart who's got a tremendous amount of compassion for humanity, who cares very deeply about the direction this country is headed, which is not in a good direction, or the planet, the world as a whole is headed down the wrong path. And so I have been touched to make a difference in that conversation. And I don't really care how I do it. It's just that I do it. I have a tremendous amount of integrity when it comes to being obedient to the God of my understanding. You know, he tells me to jump and I ask him how high. As I do with people that are very close to me, that know that I'm a great big ass. Well, I'm not a great big ass anything. I'm a little guy. I'm a little teddy bear, to be honest, who's got a big mouth and a big bark and a little bite. It's not as big as people think it is. But don't test it, or you'll end up on the bad end of that. Or the wrong end of that. So, planet Earth, I will have been around in half an hour for 60 years. And I'm still going strong. I still have a lot of work to do towards my purpose on Earth. And I'm blessed that I even know what that is. Many people, especially in my position where I'm not a celebrity, many people don't ever get to that point where they understand and they know their purpose in life. They usually think that if that purpose involves, you know, some kind of monetary gain, when it doesn't. You can be rich without money, which is my lesson in life, is to be a rich man without the bank account of a rich man. I don't know if I'll ever be well off again. And I don't care, because I am so full that I'm overflowing with love, blessings, gratitude, and a lot of things that people do not see on the surface of most of the videos that I make. They may have seen that in the beginning, but as time went on, I started pulling away from that to address other things that are going on in the nation and in the world. I've got like, I keep getting adopted by young people, young black people in Africa. They keep adopting me as their father, as their daddy. So I'm picking up all these people because why? Because I'm a bad guy? No. Because I'm a loving man, and because I'm stern. I may not have had children, but I know how to mentor, and I know how to sponsor, and I know how to coach because I've been all three of those in my life. Did I say teach? Anyway, I know how to do a lot of things, and that's why people are drawn to me, because they want to be touched by whatever it is that they don't even know what exactly, but they find out who I am and how I am. And they can be 7,000 miles away and still allow me to touch them. And then they touch me back. So, happy 60th birthday to the pollinator. And God bless you all. Have a great weekend. I know I'm going to. Peace.